Hello, everybody. I'm Betty Grady. Welcome to Rejoice with Betty Grady show. Thank you so much for tuning in. I've got a story to tell. Betty, thanks for picking me up. Whew. My boo called, said he ran over a nail or something and couldn't pick me up. He asked me if I could get a ride. You want to know what I told him? First, IP Judy, I hope he's okay. Go right ahead and tell me. I know it had some sting. And Betty, you got it. Sting, stang, stung. I pricked him like a great grandmother bee had stung him. Girl, IP Judy, you ought to quit. Betty, I'll quit all right when my boo quit his shenanigans. Then I'll quit my flip tongue. I did ask about his well-being first. Was he all right? Blah, blah, blah. He said he was okay. But who knows? He could be using it as a ploy to be on one of his clandestine rendezvous for all I know. Like, I'm not Boo-Boo the fool. IP, Judy, of course you're not Boo-Boo the fool. You're Juju the cool, new, trying to do better. Betty, you are such a good friend. You're quite the good listener. I knew what I was doing when I asked you to pick me up today. IP Judy, all I can do is try to be a good person who is a good friend. You know my story, so you know, I'm far from perfect. But I sure roll up my sleeves with a mighty muster. I gotta reflect Jesus. So much so that Jesus himself will say, wow, look at my little sister Betty. And the angels in heaven are standing in amazement, shaking head. Whew. Wow, that Betty, at my portraying fervent love for God after all she's been through. I'll say, after all I've been through. Betty, you're encouraging me to rev up, be more bold in my own witness. He sure has helped me in dealing with my boo to whom I said I do. Not to mention dealing with the students at school. These children today are a new breed. I scratch my head every day trying to figure them out. IP Judy, I know it's got to be hard for teachers today. We got to pray for the parents, pray for the school administration, pray for you educators, and pray for our children. We run off the runway with a list of who and what to pray for. We all need prayer, and we all best to pray without ceasing. Betty, on that I second, third, and whatever sequence comes after, unlimited. Let me tell you the latest about what happened at school today. What I saw made me feel so bad. It made me want to shake some sense into the kids. So, a new student was transferred into our school today. The children were playing outside for recess. Now I'm standing outside on my lunch break. I needed some fresh outdoor air. There I was, deep in thought, right? Then something caught my attention. I'm like, I know I'm not seeing what I think I'm seeing. In a slight distance from me was a cluster of girls. I didn't see any boys in the huddle, but I noticed one child on the sideline. You guessed it. It was the new student. She was standing nearby the huddle, but was not included in the huddle. Suddenly, those girls scrambled out from the huddle, interlocked arms at the elbow, formed a single line, then took off running. The child on the sideline started running and screaming after them, yelling, "Wait for me! Please let me join in. Can I get in? Wait for me, I want to play. Please." Teacher Harrington was on monitoring duty. She noticed what happened, jumped into action, and put a stop to the exclusion of the new kid. Teacher Harrington saved me. She saved me, IP. Yes, she saved me from going ballistic. IP, Judy, children, some people love children and some people don't. Then you have those who are sandwiched in the middle, acting as though they don't know if they do and they don't know if they don't. Bettie, that kind of philosophy is a hot mess. We either love children or just double love them, I say. IP, Judy, you hit the bull's eye with that fluctuating stuff. There's something good about making one's mind up about things. It reminds me of what Jesus said in Revelation 3:16, and I do paraphrase. You're lukewarm. You're not cold and you're not hot. I'll spew, eject, discharge, and even vomit you right out of my mouth. Bettie, you're so right. And you know, a whole lot of people are scared to read the book of Revelation. It's something how the devil will put fear in people. Misguided fear at that. Why, the book of Revelation is simply given to John to disclose truth about the future. IP, Judy, get a load of this. What's so ironic is that behind the very essence of this fear is love. The complete opposite. Jesus wants us to get this discourse. It will help us to gain eternal life. Look at Revelation 1 and 3. It states, happy is the person who reads, hears, and does the words in the book. of revelation. Betty, I'm telling you, people, and my boo included, are missing out when they don't personally know or serve or believe in Jesus. IP, Judy, that's so true. True. Back to the subject of children. I really do love children. I think it's so important to embrace children and to show them they're loved. Some people would go into a cardiac arrest if they had just a hint of what children pick up from adults. Children observe a whole lot more than grown-ups give them credit for. What are you smiling about, IP? Betty, you just made me think about a particular scenario. Years ago, a child I knew would go off into a corner playing with dolls or whatever. The adults in the same room thought the child was paying no attention to their juicy conversation. And guess what? That child was chewing up every word they said. In this child's retelling this story as an adult today, she said she was so tickled at her own self. She swallowed up all that juicy adult conversation. A good lesson from that is adults can be outsmarted by children if we're not careful and prayerful. IP, Judy, and you know it. I've personally held this philosophy for a long time now. I can learn from a child. The Bible even talks about how a child shall lead. That's something to think about. I was thinking the other day about this couple that had 2 sons. They were the most adorable kids and so well-mannered. I think there's something special about parents spending quality time with their children while the children are young. Children who aren't brought up in church and taught to worship God has been rendered a huge dose of futility, vanity, and fruitlessness. That's sad. Because what's gonna happen is they're gonna regurgitate it right on up later in life. All because God was left out of the child rearing. Oh boy. Betty, let me just say this. I saw that happen. Some close friends of mine had some neighbors who had a few children. I saw them myself grow up from adolescents into young adults. They grew up so fast. I mean, that whole household didn't go to nobody's church. You would have thought they'd never heard the name God or Jesus. They were the worst bunch of folks you ever wanted to see in your life. Drinking and cussing and fighting and laying all sprawled out on the front lawn, trash all over the place. Disgusting stuff. Stuff no decent person want to even hear about. The cops coming out every week for disturbing the peace. I'm telling you, the parents let the children rule them. Now, right now, they can't do a thing with them. I really believe the parents are scared of their own children. The sad part about it is my friends, their neighbor, would repeatedly ask the parents, will you let me take your children to church with us? The mother always said, Sweet Cakes said she don't want to go. And Moonhead said, me and my friends don't roll like that. And all the rest of our kids just rolled their eyeballs to the sky with a stupid looking smirk. So they don't want to go. I'm their mother, and I don't worry myself. And I suggest you don't worry yourself. They'll be all right. Well, guess what? They grew up, and the children were totally out of control. The mother of those same children told my friend, I wish my husband and I had allowed you to take our children to church when they were young. We know about church. Our parents took all our siblings to church. We went at least once a week, sometimes more than that. Hindsight is definitely 20/20. Ain't no doubt we dropped the ball on church going. We should have taken them to church. My children need Jesus, and so do we. Quiet as kept. We're paying now for our bad choices. My friend said this woman often cries about it on her neighbor's shoulder. So sad. It is sad, IP Judy. And as I was saying, this couple had these adorable two sons, Cain and Abel. They grew up so fast. As the old saying goes, time sure does fly. Anyway, I find it amazing how personalities and characteristics of a person can change over time. It's also fascinating to see varied differences in children by the same parents, especially living in the same household. So I noticed Cain was seemingly an angry and ill-tempered individual. And as he got older, he developed an inferiority complex, especially where his brother was concerned. I think the parents could have and should have affirmed to him his positive traits a little bit more. Now, they may have, but I just never saw it. And I'm pretty close to them. Now, what I did notice in Cain's brother Abel was, he was quite a generous and respectful young man. He showed reverence for God, even around his peers. We really don't see enough of that nowadays. And you know, IP Judy, none of us can ever be God giving. When you give, honey child, it's coming back multiplied. God started blessing Abel. Everybody could see it. Good things started happening. Woo! Good things happening like popcorn, pop, 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 pop. Betty, speaking of popcorn, can we stop for some? I already know, you already know. We all already know. You start talking about food to a 300-pound person, there better be some food around. IP Judy, you ain't said nothing but a word. I want some popcorn myself. We're headed there even as I finish my point. Thank you very much. I'm going to finish. Well, poor Cain, he couldn't stand to see his own brother Abel doing so well. He showed his true colors, jumped up and moved halfway across the country, moved as far away as he could. Last that I heard. So much for children. They can cause so much pain and so much joy. But we gotta love on all children in every bit of way that we can. Children need us, and we need kids. We need them. Oh, yes, we do. We need children. Or shall I say teens or youth or young adults or youngsters or whatever the latest jargon is. The street language may be hard to keep up with, but I'll sure try till I die. Betty, you say what you say, and I'll say, speed it up to the popcorn. Okay, IP Judy, you got me there. I'm making a fast beeline for the popcorn. Pop, 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 pop. Hold it, all red lights. IP Judy may not let me come to a stop. Pop, 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 pop. Peace out. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss an episode. Thank you so much for joining me. And remember to choose to rejoice evermore. Blessings.